of our local, our regional and our international viewers, wherever you may be, thank you so much for choosing us. A very warm welcome to another edition of the program Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower and answer those unanswered questions. I am Zelisa Budu Singh Rupani, humbly inviting you to sit back, relax, enjoy, absorb, as we continue to reach out and transform lives. Directing this morning and in Master Control, Hisham Castello, on behalf of our team, I'd like to wish each and every one of you a terrific day today. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. Of course, it's Thursday, the 18th of January, 2024. A day and time we'll never have the opportunity to have again. If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours, that someone special. Let's quickly go to our quote for today, and our quote for today says, "Joy is the simplest form of gratitude." Joy is the simplest form of gratitude. I love that. That came to us with the kind compliments of India in Style Expo. Remember to check them out today. They are located at the Mid-Center Mall in Shogunas. Great deals, a family affair, safe and secure parking, food, entertainment and lots more, all happening at the Mid-Center Mall in Shogunas. Take advantage of this wonderful event. There you go. Today, my friends, I've got a very special presentation for you because, as you know, I am very concerned when it comes to crime in this land because I believe it's affecting each and every one of us. As a matter of fact, a police officer, a man of the law, was gunned down and killed last night. Where are we in this country? I'm very pleased to bring to you a recording of a townhouse meeting, anti-crime talks, which was held on Monday at the La Jolla Complex, Eastern Main Road in St. Joseph. This was, of course, hosted by the United National Congress, the leader of the opposition, Mrs. Kamla Bissessa, SC, MP. And so at this time, I would like to bring you this wonderful initiative. Our topic of discussion certainly is crime affects everyone. My friends, sit back, relax, more importantly, absorb and stay with us for this very special presentation on Conversations with Zelisa. Thanks for choosing us.
There is no one in our country who will doubt that we are in a crime siege, we are engulfed and beleaguered by crime. And therefore, it is incumbent upon us, as the loyal opposition of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, for us to try to find solutions. As a party, we do have some proposals for the fight against crime, but that is not enough. It cannot be done alone. And that is why we decided to have this forum, to have these distinguished panelists with us and you in the audience. This is for the first of several we'll be having throughout the country.
Allow me to give some examples today. Opportunity. No opportunity of a father figure. No opportunity to get help to do homework when you get home. No opportunity of sustainable employment. No opportunity of employment opportunities. No one to speak to when you are facing trauma or problems. No opportunity to go home to a house or a safe haven, and your only version of a role model are the community leaders. We teach and say education is often the way. A great equalizer has now become a symbol of unattainable dreams for many. Our schools, which was once pillars, have failed to provide the necessary support and resources, leaving our youth in a circle of stagnation and no way out. It's time for us to rise up above the negative influence and provide our youth with opportunities. Let us make a stand, my fellow community members. This evening, as I sit before you here, I do so as Rene Enrique Rodriguez, a symbol of hope, resilience, and an active pursuit to a brighter future. As a testimony of Duncan Street, better can be done. Let's join forces invest in our youth, for they hold the key to our opportunity and prosperity for the future. Together we can dismantle the barriers and numbers that confine our young minds, create a society that celebrates progress, positive values, and boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Our theme today is crime affects everyone. And we have this platform and this forum to see how best we can make suggestions, raise matters. So I want to thank Mr. Rodriguez very much. From his presentation a short while ago, I think he identified two major points that we must pay attention to. And I want to thank him for sharing his experiences in some beautiful areas that have now become not as safe as they used to be. But those two that I can recall, and of course we are recording everything, so we'll take all suggestions. Of course we'll want from you in the audience as well. The first one he talked about was invisibility of young persons out there, that they are invisible. They are not recognized. But even more important, he talked about how we can overcome that invisibility with creating opportunities. And I was very happy to hear you, Mr. Rodriguez, outline several areas for opportunity. Yes, there's opportunity in education. There must be. You know, sometimes when we talk about fighting crime, people tend to concentrate on the legislative. Mr. Warner, you're very aware of that, and I welcome you for joining us. Gary is very aware of that, too. You talk about fighting crime, and everybody wants legislation. There are thousands of laws on our statute books. And has it stopped crime? No. Has it lessened the crime? No. And so we have to look at other areas and other things that we can do. And Mr. Rodriguez pointed out opportunity. So job opportunities, educational opportunities, opportunities to be recognized, to contribute and be, you know, a good patriotic citizen contributing to the development of our great land. So just again, thank Mr. Rodriguez, and you can raise questions at the end.
Opposition Leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, fellow speakers, citizens of this country who are here to listen and to guide us. We are not here to give a sales pitch, as we've spent enough time knowing exactly what is not working. We are here today to work together to try to find the right solutions to provide our citizens with your most fundamental right, which is that of safety and security. Now, you know, in most professions, you will have the experts that will go ahead, do the research, and come up with the proper policies. As it pertains to national security, it is not that easy. You can have the experts, but what you require is what it is that is happening right now, with persons coming on the floor, listening to you, because the individuals on the ground, you are the ones who are affected. You are the ones who know what is happening. You are the ones that can assist in coming up and formulate a proper national security crime-fighting policy that can assist in reducing crime. And this is why we are here today. We are not here just to spit out crime plans. This is why in February last year, this started when I offered to assist the government because I realized they were unable to deal with the situation. The opposition leader, likewise, she did the same. It is unfortunate that other persons would not have the political maturity to understand that you put aside your political party card when it comes to doing what is right for the country. You must always be a patriot before being a politician. And I do thank Kamala Prasad-Bissessar for what you have done, because if it is you as a politician, you cannot put aside your hate, your bitterness, your anger, and your political bias to do what is right. Well, then you shouldn't be there. We are here today. We are here today, as I said, if we want to deal with this situation, the catalyst for crime reduction is the implementation of government policies. Now, there are three different aspects to reduce crime: primary, secondary, and tertiary. When I did my training with criminology at the University of Leicester, they showed us that. So, you know, many people will come and say that we have to stop crime by dealing with society, dealing with parents, dealing with teachers, dealing with the community, and praying to God, as Ula continues to do. But those things, yes, they are important. That is known as secondary crime prevention. Secondary crime prevention is putting systems and tools to turn persons away from a life of crime. Tertiary crime prevention involves the criminal justice system. I can spend the next 45 minutes speaking about the things that would have been achieved from 2010 to 2015 dealing with the criminal justice system by a Ministry of Justice being formed specifically to deal with the problems of recidivism. Because we have a high recidivism rate due to poor rehabilitation and the problems that we have in the criminal justice system. I can speak for another 45 minutes of the other ministries that we had from 2010 to 2015 through the Ministry of Sport, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Youth Affairs, different ministries that would have assisted to get young persons away from a life of crime. But these things take time. You will see the difference in a few years' time. What happens is that the way to reduce crime immediately is known as primary crime prevention. That is hard targeting, deterrence, a rapid response, high visibility, strong policing, good law enforcement. And you would have seen it. It is not coincidental that from 1991 to 1995, crime went up every single year. From 95 to 2001, crime went down almost every single year, to the point that it reached less than 100. From 2001 to 2010, it went up every year. From 2010 to 2015, it went down every year. From 2015 to 2023, it has gone up every year, except for the last 18 months when I was Commissioner of Police. So it shows the catalyst of crime reduction is the implementation of government policies. And again, going back, 3 critical posts, it has a big part to play. It has to do with the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, and the Commissioner of Police. And you would have seen that. The Prime Minister doesn't need to be an expert as it pertains to crime. But when you look at it, you had one Prime Minister where in 2014, it was the highest reduction in serious crime in 31 years. If we look right now, the majority of murders taking place have been by illegal firearms and by gangs. We could see 3,000 to 4,000 persons have been killed in the last decade by illegal firearms. Yet, the powers that be spend all of their times dealing with legal firearms. And that is where it is, you see sometimes political pettiness has a big part to play in the make or break of crime. When the leader of the opposition decided to speak about stand your ground, let me clarify the importance of that. This was not the nonsense and the lies of persons trying to shoot at someone if they jump in your yard to steal a mango. We are speaking about the present situation and the environment, that if someone breaks into your home with a cutlass and is coming up your steps, you must go and look for a cutlass because they state what? It must be equal force. Total nonsense. It is your right to defend yourself. It is your right to have a firearm if the state is unable to properly protect you. And that is what stand your ground is. It is to make sure that you don't have to second guess. Because you second guess, you would die. And it has proven that these firearms can be critical towards saving lives. We need to find solutions to deal with the gangs. They are a small army. They are no longer just, as I said, persons just going out and killing here and there. If we look at it from that perspective, we need to understand the meaning of the word terrorism and terrorists. If a person who has an unlawful, as a reason to commit unlawful violence and intimidation, especially to citizens, that person can and should be deemed a terrorist. We have persons here, these criminal elements, they have assault weapons, automatic weapons that can fire 35 rounds in 3 seconds. 35 rounds in 3 seconds. Let me show what that means. If it is that 5 of them stand up here right now, everyone in this room could be killed in 3 seconds. If that is not a terrorist, I don't know what is. That is what these individuals have. Now let us compare that to the Jamaat in 1990, when you had 100 untrained persons using muskets, and a handful of people were killed. They were known as terrorists. I would recommend what we need to do is to look at the same Anti-Terrorism Act, and another country has done it recently. If we place these individuals where they belong as terrorists, it now provides that opportunity for 2 things. It now ensures that we can go after these individuals with full force, where it is that it will be non-bailable. They will now be, it is sentenced as a capital punishment, 25 years in prison. And it also goes after individuals who are involved in aiding and abetting these gangs, from the fellow gang members to the gang leaders, to the persons who finance it, to the persons who import it, and even to certain politicians. Because when I spoke about the problem of gangs being funded by the state, the present Prime Minister said, well, it is their right to get it. You cannot be more ignorant than that. When you feed the enemy, they are going to fund themselves to the point that they are going to have better artillery to go after the same law enforcement agencies that we are asking to protect us. So if it is we go under that anti-terrorism bill, as I said, and we use that, these individuals can now be deemed terrorists. It can now make us go after these individuals. It provides an important point here. We have a Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, 5,000 strong, and they stay in camp. And the reason for it is because of the situation that they're in. They are boxed in a situation where they do not have the capability to come out and operate as they should. So what we do, we give them a cosmetic aspect of what is known as joint patrols, a soldier and a police officer. This is no longer time for being cosmetic. This is a time for we are under siege, we are under war. And if it is we utilize the Defense Force under Chapter 1401 of the Defense Act in Para 4, it gives the President the authority to put them on active service. And the active service will allow them to make clinical operations to go after these gangs. We are talking about a couple thousand members as gang members compared to 12,000 well-trained members of the Defense Force and the police that can go after these criminals, peg them back. It worked before. I was able to do it with just 100 persons known as the Special Operation Response Team. It put fear in the criminals, it pegged them back, and it was the highest reduction in violent crime in 17 years.
After huge success in Mokoya, La Romaine and South Park Mall, for the first time ever, Indian Style Expo will be at the air-conditioned Dome at Mid-Center Mall from January 6. Over 60 merchants. Get all that you need: garments, furniture, handicraft, footwear, jewelry and so much more. For the first time ever in Trinidad, be sure to check out our $20 food court. Yes, you heard right, but that's not all. When you spend over $200, you also get a free meal. Bring your kids to the arcade while you shop. The India in Style Expo at the air-conditioned Dome, Mid-Center Mall, starting on January 6th from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, including weekends and holidays.
Super quality supermarket. Best quality and great prices. Get your fresh fruits, vegetables and meats. It's a one-stop shop for the most affordable groceries, baby items, kitchen supplies, bathroom accessories, car care supplies, pet food, toys and lots more, all at Super Quality Supermarket. Wide aisles, fully air-conditioned and secured parking. 3 locations nationwide: Hoover Car Park, Hoover, 98 Endeavour Road, Chagonas, and 47 Tissue Drive, Trincity. Super Quality Supermarket. Val Park Chinese Restaurant. Experience the flavors of authentic Chinese cuisine for a romantic night out or a family dinner. Our newly renovated cozy atmosphere and professional friendly service makes dining with us an unforgettable experience. We have a well-equipped conference room that caters for meetings and corporate events for up to 50 persons. Safe and secure parking. Val Park Chinese Restaurant. Open every day including Sundays and holidays. Book your table today. Give us a call 645-5474 662-4540.
Lifetime Solutions, manufacturer of metal roofing, panels, framing, guttering, and related products. Located lot number 26, Omera Industrial Estate in Arima. Give us a call 646-5813 for further information. Lifetime Solutions. Give us a call today.
Tile Expression Limited, the #1 leader in tiles. Large stock, unbeatable prices, wide variety. Porcelain tiles, ceramic tiles, wall and floor tiles, residential and commercial, granite and quartz countertops. Best quality from Italy, Spain, India, Brazil and China. Conveniently located Monroe Road, Kunupir. Tile Expression Limited. Telephone 693-0015-223 Tile.
Do you have back pain, neck pain, dizziness, blackouts, migraine headaches? Then you need to see us at Synapse Medical Services. Our innovative approach and patient-centered focus ensures that you receive the personalized care needed to fix your muscle weakness, memory trouble, or tingling in your hands or feet. WhatsApp us at 367-9368 or check out our website at www.synapsemedicaltt.com. Synapse Medical Services, building bridges to better outcomes, one connection at a time.
As I close, I want to stay within the 15 minutes here. As I said, it can open a window for the Defense Force to operate. It will now give them the opportunity to be involved in operations. Jamaica, in fact, has the same thing that happens right now. They go along something known as a zone of special operations. That zone of special operations allows the Defense Force to go in there with clinical operations to go after these gang members, these terrorists, these persons who have caused each and every one of you to be fearful. As I close, we can change this. We can transform Trinidad and Tobago. It requires the political will. Unfortunately, if it is that we provide the policy, the programs, the tools, the individuals who are in position right now may not have the capability or may not even want to do it. So two things we can do. We can at least prepare, as we are doing now, by proper dialogue with you, the citizens of this great country. And if it is that those that are in authority, who will be leaving office shortly, democratically, do not want to accept it, at least we will be prepared, we will have the foundation. So when we are in that position, we can hit the ground running and we do not need a honeymoon period. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we give Captain Gary Griffith a round of applause? Before we welcome Professor Daisley, Gary has given us so many pointers that we can develop upon. But I think a very important point he has made is just the beginning and a continuation of reducing crime in Trinidad and Tobago. We can share with you the statistics. We can see, as Gary told us, where the crimes increased every year from 2015 onwards to the present time. In fact, we had the most murders in the history of Trinidad and Tobago last year. And this year, that trend continued with, again, the second highest number of murders in our country. And whilst that is happening, the detection rate continues to decrease. So where in 2015 we had a detection rate of about 20%, that is down now to 13%. Don't tell me then that you are dealing with crime. Don't tell me that you're refusing to talk to citizens. You live it every day. And I thank you, Gary, for your experience, sharing it with us. And this is not the be-all or end-all. I want you to remember that. This is a continuation, but also the beginning for us to craft a policy. You will say, opposition leader, you are not in government. That's okay. We have a duty to our country and to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And this is where we will work with you to develop proposals that we can implement. And that time will come sooner than you think.
I have a little definition here of crime. Crime is an intentional commission of an act usually deemed socially harmful or dangerous and specifically defined, prohibited and punishable under criminal law. Crimes may be variously considered as wrong against individuals, against the community, or the state. Over the years, murders have galloped out of control. And you can see on the board there, in 1994, the number of murders was 143. And as the former Commissioner of Police has said, that it went into a galloping rage. In 2008, it was 550. And then something must have gone very wrong. In 2022, it went to 605. And in 2023, it went to 575. Something is obviously wrong. Look at the crime statistic in Trinidad and Tobago as compared to the rest of the Caribbean. Now, as I said, when I went to Jamaica, Jamaica was first. Look at what is happening here according to the crime index. The country that ranked first with crime index, that is according to population size and what have you, in the Caribbean is Trinidad and Tobago. And this is awful.
Jamaica comes second, the Bahamas comes third, and Puerto Rico follows fourth. Now, if you look at the crime statistics of Trinidad and Tobago in terms of world crime statistics, you would see that Venezuela is first, and Trinidad and Tobago is seventh. And this is awful. This is really awful. We were nowhere within the first 20 or 30 in years gone by. And we are seventh here, and yet still there don't seem to be a meaningful effort to pull those figures back and provide safe communities for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And we must ask where these illegal guns are coming from. They are really coming through the natural route. One has to understand what Mr. Gary Gifford said. I don't believe that the youths in Laventille or the youths in Arima can buy these guns. There has to be somebody or some organization that is supplying them with this. And what we need to do is to get that organization. Until we could get at that organization or whoever it is, then we would have the youths being constantly lured into this organization, and the cycle of crime is not going to change. We need to have within the force people who have done criminology and psychologists and what have you, who would help in understanding the dilemma that we are in.
Thank you very much, Professor Daisley. And I'm very happy you made a very, very important point that we seem to miss. And I was talking to Dr. Indira here. She says she will also develop it further. That these young persons are wielding all these kinds of guns. They don't have the money to buy those guns. And when you raise the main issue you said for us is gun violence, you told us the percentage of crimes being committed with guns, and therefore there must be a way in our looking for solutions. So how do we stem that inflow of the guns? And then we can't just blame the young men or young women out there with the guns, because at that point I think it's something we need to look further into. Where are they getting the money for those guns? Or who is arming them? Who is giving them these guns? I think that's a very important point. I was also thank you all very much. Let's recognize Professor for that point. I'm not sure if it has been made before, but it really struck me when I read it up on your screen and heard you. The second thing the professor shared with us is, so where are these guns coming from? Yeah. What then do we need to do? What the professor said to us, and he really had to skim through that part, and we certainly take your whole treatise today. I noticed on the screen, Prof, that you talked about what we do at our ports. Where are the guns coming from? They're not coming from the sky. They're coming through ports, whether the legal ports or the not legal ports. So, Prof, you're correct. Guns, number one issue in the country when it comes to serious crime. So we look further at the matters you've raised, and again, we want to thank you very, very much, Professor. Can we give him a round of applause?
Can't go to the beach. We're afraid to go to the beach. I started to go to Tobago to go to the beach. And then the gangs reach there too. So where do we go? Now, I didn't plan to say this, but all of this is coming to my mind when I heard the former presentations. It's just abject fear. And yes, there is a correlation between crime and migration. Because when you can't take it no more, if you could afford, you leave. You just pack up your bundle and you go, because you can't take it no more. What do? The safety of your home, your family, it's paramount. You need to protect them. You can't protect them here, and you're not getting the protection that you need from the state. Now, there are also sociological issues, a sociological dimension to this. And that, when I talk about sociological dimension, we're talking about, for example, the education system. Now, I don't want to say that the education system has failed. I am a beneficiary of the education system. Many of us have been educated in Trinidad and Tobago, but there are clear fallacies in the education system. And one of the problems was that junior secondary school. A junior secondary school spawned generations of young people who had half-day idle. Half-day idle. I used to teach in one. I used to see how they behave. They had a lot of free time on their hands, some of them under no supervision. So we have these sociological impulses. I wouldn't say it has failed. We have students that are excelling all over the world. You know, we see scholarship winners coming out and doing very, very well. So we can't say it's totally failed, but a lot of that would be also because they beat the system. They managed to beat the system. The class dynamic is also linked to this ethnic factor. And one of the things we have to understand is that it's not only underprivileged youths that are involved in gangs. Some of the research found that some of these gang members are educated. They come from middle-class families. Money is not a problem. Okay? We do have at-risk youths, high unemployment and underemployment. Now, this is a real problem right now in the country. We are graduating students every year, and now a lot of them are doing master's degrees, and they're coming out and they cannot get employment commensurate with their education. So students with master's degrees are coming out and working as clerical officers if they find a job. I have 2 OJTs in my office right now, OJTs with degrees, and they're doing master's degrees. Then we have to look at the role of the elites. This is another class dimension in fostering the drugs and the arms trade and promoting gang activities. So she was asking the question. And I have that question too because I have a picture there. You all remember the Santa Cruz bus in October? That Santa Cruz bus, I remember I was looking at the TV carefully because I had protest march that day, and I say, okay, I'm going to get the headlines, and then come the Santa Cruz bus and take away my headlines. And I say, oh my God. But the point is, whatever it was they were doing, whether I was really a bus or not, I ain't getting there. Where all them guns come from? Who bringing in them guns? How are they getting into the country? Now, Commissioner of Police might be able to answer that better than me, and I wish he would. But the point is, we have sharks and barracudas and herons and small fries. Okay? And David rather say, somebody bringing the cocaine in, somebody bringing the ammunition in. Somebody bringing the ammunition in, and people afraid to talk. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the academic community at any rate is doing what it has to do in terms of the research. I believe that the partnership government tried, okay, and we know what the state of emergency caused. I think we need a state of emergency every day now. Every time I hear those guns ringing out around me, I think we need a state of emergency. So with that, I want to leave you. There is one other thing I will take 1 minute. To the parents out there, you know, I have been an educator for decades, a very long time. And I can tell you that the students of today are not the students of yesterday. There is this Gen Z culture. Okay, we have Gen Z and millenniums. Gen Z are those between the ages of 12 and 27, and the millenniums are those between the ages of 28 and 43. This culture, they're perpetuating, I don't know where it's coming from, entitlement, uncaring, selfish, quick money. Some are very privileged, they're spoiled, and they're lazy. Now that is because the generation before them worked very, very hard to give them everything they want, and they're giving them everything they want. Not a good idea. They don't wish to work, they don't read, they don't watch the news, they don't even watch TV, they don't even watch a movie. They are unaware of current affairs, they do not care. All day in that phone, all day, I don't know what they be doing. I don't know if it is porn, I don't know what is the obsession. I understand they're dating on the phone as well. So I am asking the parents out there, and this is in the national community, to pay attention to what your children are doing and take control. Take control. You are the parents. You know, some of them come and they complain to me about the children. I say, but I am my child. That's your child. Take control. You are in charge. Thank you very much.
Kilograms of cocaine found down in Chagaramas in a wagon. Have we found out? What are we trying to do? Solve home invasion? Yes. I agree, stand your ground. Because I think robberies, human trafficking, 2 sets of human trafficking. One in Westmoreland, the next one in Curep. We haven't found out nothing about it yet. Where are those 20 children gone? But we find one man, and he get away.
Many people don't realize, or maybe we forget sometimes, that crime affects agriculture, and crime affects your food. So let me just bring a couple quick facts for you all. The farming sector in Trinidad and Tobago, not really afraid of pre-deal larceny anymore, you know. You know what they're afraid of? They're afraid of being hogtied, lit a light in front of their family, tortured, and robbed. And that is what happened to our farmer. I wouldn't call the area. That is what happened to our farmer not so long ago. On the issue of pre-deal larceny, let me just bring forward something that recently occurred. We have maybe 3 pre-deal larceny officers. The main office, which is located in Carson Field, has been closed for renovations. So you know what the minister does? He moved everybody to Princestown. So from Caroni to San Fernando and beyond, the farmers have no protection. In the largest concentrated area where farmers are, they have no protection. And it boils down to leadership. And this is what we need, leadership. Because that is what I see at the head table there. I'll pass you on.
Again, I want to bring in Gary Griffith on this issue of the pre-deal larceny and the squad. And Gary could share what we did to have that squad up and running. And since then, what has happened, they have totally emasculated the squad. Would you like to contribute to Mr. Donny, please?
Yes, Bill. So the pre-deal larceny squad is a squad that was designed specifically to deal with such type of crime, because we understood it required specific training, understanding, knowledge. And because of that, that played a very big part towards assisting in that reduction. We were also aware of the need for even firearms for persons in that type of business, where it is firearms were required. I was doing what was required, and then certain persons thought it wasn't the appropriate thing to do. But obviously, when you are the small farmer, the small businessman, and you have to see about your cattle, your crops, you need that type of protection. If the state is unable to protect you, you're in a desolate area, far from anything, and someone decides to go there to invade your home, your property, your crops, your livestock, you needed that protection. And which is why it is that when Kamala Prasad-Bissessar continues to speak about the importance of giving licensed firearms to those persons who need it, those persons in your industry, so we understand that you need it, because it must be given to you if the state is unable to protect you.
Go ahead.
Okay, good evening all. My name is Kenny McIntyre. I am a retired senior superintendent of police. I work in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service for 40 years. And I feel privileged for this conference because I have been part and parcel of our society from the time that the gentleman spoke about, Mr. Daisley. He had an encounter with Mr. Daisley doing autopsies. He may not remember me, but I have been in those days to this time. And I feel that I have the authority to talk about why our society is as it is. I am here to talk particularly about 2010 to 2015. Myself, and this gentleman here, Mr. Abraham, stand up a minute, please. Johnny Abraham. We took responsibility for Central Division, changing the communities one by one. And it moved from a rioting society to a peaceful one where two arch rivals, with their children playing in the center, and we had peace. And after a while, things just started getting explosive. Why? I'll tell you why. Because starting with the state has a legal and a constitutional responsibility to take care of us as citizens. Every one of us. They are not doing what they're supposed to do and paid to do. They are blatantly disregarded, educated, and well-learned people in this society. We have had it enough. And I'll tell you something, we are the ones with the power to change that. We are the ones with the power to change that. I can go on and on in terms of solutions to crime and all of that. Mr. Griffith made an excellent presentation in terms of what we had and what could be implemented and the rationale behind it. But it boils down to you, the individual.
In jockey backing on my former colleague, Mr. McIntyre. By the way, my name is Johnny Abraham, a retired senior superintendent with over 40 years experience. And I can safely tell you that when I was in charge of Central Division, the people could have slept with the house open. I will go on national television and I will warn the criminals to stay out of Central. And if they do come and they leave to tell the story, there's another story. And there is no leadership in the police service. And if the media pick it up and they want to chastise me, they could go ahead. I could stand up and say that anyway. And the reason for that is because some persons went and get elevated because of friendship, because of clique. Correct. I don't want to use all those words. While I was on the ground fighting crime, they were studying. I used to lock down Central Division with 5 vehicles. 1 Centennial Junction, 1 by the roundabout Caroni, 1 Claxonby by the fish market, 1 on the highway Claxonby. You can't come in from north, you can't come from south, you can't come from the east. No escape route. I had a walkie-talkie. People talk about micromanage. I used to micromanage every sergeant in my division. Morning, noon, and night. The thing about the whole police service now is that people are afraid to take the challenge to the criminals. They have no leaders. They have no leadership. If you're hunting and your dog going to chase something, animal, and you're not following the dog will turn back. If you don't have a leader, you can't have followers. And without all proper security in a country, you can't have no investment. They have no motivation in the police service. And on top of that, 4%. Under the leadership of Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, 14%. They get a back pay in 6 months. $1,000 extra on their salary. They was motivated more than ever. And I could keep going on and on and on. But the whole thing is that we must take back this country. And in order to do that, the police service have to have proper leadership and persons who are willing to make that sacrifice to work night and day to bring back this country to peaceful. Thank you very much.
Are we aware that we had 12 Damas vessels in Trinidad and Tobago? All right, you had 4, and you will know that, were interceptors. Why we had interceptors? Because the drug trade brings in small vessels who do the trade. It's not the big container vessels. Okay, so you needed that. Within recent time, our Minister of National Security said that the vessels are not operating because of lack of maintenance. And nobody took that up as Trinidadians. Isn't that a responsibility, if we're serious about crime, to ensure that the question of those vessels that we spend so much money for is operating? Why the 356 radar system is not operational? Asking the question, those are things that we have to put in place, because that system was designed and came there to ensure that we have a whole radar screen so we could pick up any illegal drugs, vessels coming into Trinidad. Ask yourself the question, why that is done in Trinidad and Tobago if we're serious about crime? So the first thing we have to lobby for is not the opposition leader, is we collectively to ensure those matters are put in place.
Good night, everyone. I'm Randall Fields, President of the Single Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm trying my best not to talk tonight, but it really impressed me to come here today and see a mixture of people, a mixture of races, a mixture of ages, a mixture of men and women. And it says something, that we all have a concern. We all have a fear, as some people said. And one thing
After huge success in Mokoya, Laramine and South Park Mall, for the first time ever, Indian Style Expo will be at the air-conditioned Dome at Mid-Center Mall from January 6th. Over 60 merchants. Get all that you need: garments, furniture, handicraft, footwear, jewelry, and so much more. For the first time ever in Trinidad, be sure to check out our $20 food court. Yes, you heard right, but that's not all. When you spend over $200, you also get a free meal. Bring your kids to the arcade while you shop. The Indian Style Expo at the air-conditioned Dome, Mid-Center Mall, starting on January 6th from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, including weekends and holidays.
Super quality supermarket. Best quality and great prices. Get your fresh fruits, vegetables and meats. It's a one-stop shop for the most affordable groceries, baby items, kitchen supplies, bathroom accessories, car care supplies, pet food, toys and lots more, all at Super Quality Supermarket. Wide aisles, fully air-conditioned and secured parking. 3 locations nationwide: Couva Car Park, Couva, 98 Endeavour Road, Chagonas, and 47 Tissue Drive, Trincity. Super Quality Supermarket. Val Park Chinese Restaurant. Experience the flavors of authentic Chinese cuisine for a romantic night out or a family dinner. Our newly renovated cozy atmosphere and professional friendly service makes dining with us an unforgettable experience. We have a well-equipped conference room that caters for meetings and corporate events for up to 50 persons. Safe and secure parking. Val Park Chinese Restaurant. Open every day including Sundays and holidays. Book your table today. Give us a call 645-5474 662-4540.
Looking for the best in educational supplies? Then come on down to Charon's Bookstore, the trusted name in everything back to school, from uniforms, textbooks, school accessories, stationery, and much more. Our dedicated team is committed in providing the highest quality in customer service. Visit us at number 53 Eastern Main Road, Tunapuna, Trincity Mall, Trincity, number 24 Eastern Main Road, San Juan, and number 10 Diego Martin, 4 Roads, Diego Martin. Call us at 235-5811.
Tile Expression Limited, the #1 leader in tiles. Large stock, unbeatable prices, wide variety of porcelain tiles, ceramic tiles, wall and floor tiles, residential and commercial, granite and quartz countertops. Best quality from Spain, Italy, Brazil, India and China. Tile Expression Limited, conveniently located Monroe Road, Kunapir. Telephone 693-0015 or 223 Tile.
We need to focus on, honestly, as people, is that we need to find a way to unite. That, I think, is one of our critical issues. It hurts me as a Trinidadian sometimes to see how we treat each other as African and East Indian people, as Trinidadian people. We have to find a way that we can unite genders, find a way we could unite the races if we need to move forward with anything. I understand the strategies. I understand the crime plans. I understand the social issues part. But we have a real big problem in Trinidad and Tobago. Go on Facebook and see it. The kind of venom as African and East Indian people that we just spew behind each other. But look at us here tonight, because we all have the same common issue, boy. We can't start to talk about no crime plan until we start to talk about loving each other.
Good evening again, everyone. I am once again honored for this opportunity. But if you took nothing from my brief presentation, please take this. Parents, big brothers, and the men especially, I challenge you today to start telling your kids, your nephews, your daughters, your sons that you love them. Start showing them love and appreciation from home first, so it can be a barrier from the outside elements being able to attack their minds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rodriguez. Dr. Rampersad.
Well, so much has been said. I think everything has been said. We know the causes, we know the consequences, we know the solutions. I think there's only one thing left to say, and I'll put on my trade union hat here, trade unionist hat. Mr. Anisette, power to the people. People, you have the power to make the difference. All this crime and so much apathy. You know, we fought for the right of association in the 60s. Okay? We have now that right to protest. Crime is affecting our daily lives. We live in mortal fear. We can't just talk about it. So let us start to act. We have to put pressure on the powers that be to deal with this problem. Okay? So people, rise up. It's time for action.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah. I must thank the Honorable Opposition Leader for the opportunity to speak today. Crime is a monster in our society at this particular time. And we need everybody to get into the action to stop this. Because if we do not stop this, then Trinidad would die literally. We are not going to have investors come here. The investors who are here are going to leave. The brain drain is going to be part of the problem. We would not even have tourists coming here for Carnival. So we need to put our heads together and fight this monster. We need to protect our borders so that the guns do not come in. But while I am saying all of this, we must understand that this is not an easy task. As I mentioned before, many of the economies in the Caribbean are run by this parallel economy, and this parallel economy is greater than our economies, right? So we must understand that it's going to be a very, very long and arduous battle to get rid of this monster from our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Larry, please.
Okay. Thank you, Opposition Leader. And again, so just to close, again, we've heard a lot. I want to give you all the assurance it can change. I want to re-emphasize the catalyst for crime reduction is the implementation of government policies. In the last 31 years, every time a certain political party is in government, crime goes up. Anytime another political party is in government, crime goes down. That is a fact. That is not coincidental. And it has to do with the political will, the policies, and the people. We put in, and even to the members of the diplomatic corps here, you all would recall, as Commissioner of Police, we put a sophisticated operational command center. We were monitoring all of your places. We gave you a hotline in case of any situation. That has collapsed. It shows total disrespect to you, Your Excellencies, that we were looking after you all with an operational command center protecting you and other persons in your embassies. And that is what we have to endure. What we would have seen from 2010 to 2015 was a turnaround, and we pegged back the criminal elements from a national operations center that was recommended by the Commission of Inquiry into the attempted coup. It was coordinating everything. We had a 5-minute response. We had a highway patrol unit. We had an emergency response patrol, a rapid response unit, a national security special operation group, a training academy, GPS tracking on vehicles. We had operation centers in even the divisions that you just spoke about, sir. So we had the people, the training, the technology. We were getting hovercraft, we were getting armored personal carriers, we were getting drones. We got diamond vessels at a cost of $1.2 billion less than 3 defective OPVs that could have done the same thing. We were getting interceptors. I close by telling you it can change, but you need the political will. If those that are in government are unable to provide that, then we are ready to replace them.
Thank you very much. Sorry? What was that? Last needs to go?
Well, I'll take a quote by a certain political leader. If you are in government and you cannot solve the problem, then you are part of the problem and you need to go.
Thank you all very much for a very interesting evening. As I said, this is the first of many, and we trust that others can join us as we move along. Trust us, we will not just stop here today. We will take the comments, the suggestions, and the ideas. If there are others who wanted to contribute and could not, please free to send it to the Office of the Leader of the Opposition, your comments and your suggestions. I just wanted to share a little story. And we have shared with you from our platforms several anti-crime plans. I will not repeat those tonight, but I just want to share a story that will allow me to repeat one of them. A friend of mine spoke with me earlier in the evening, but more like this morning, late last night, this morning, and was telling me about a friend of his family where bandits had attempted to invade their home, and they were all inside of the house, and he heard his wife start screaming, and then he saw on the camera that there was a home invasion of sorts, and then he said all he could think about was Kamla. Now, it may not be for the reason you think, but all he could think about was Kamla, because what? He had a gun. And he said he had to think twice. Should he use a gun and then be charged for murder? And then he said he remembered Kamla.
Stand your ground. Empty the clip. If your family is in danger, stand your ground. And part of our plan in the fight against crime, the more drastic part of it, is bringing home invasion laws, bringing legislation to deal with stand your ground, make it easier for persons legally to get firearms. We talk about the firearms here, the gun invasion, but they are not legal guns, they are all illegal guns, and we have to find ways to stem the tide. So I know we've been here a long evening. I ask you as we go home, as I thank you for joining us and hope to see you again another day. Stand your ground and get home safe. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much.